Hey, it's Lols here. I've been saying what do you want to see in vlogs, and the most common thing people are writing is yoga sequences. So this is the first ever yogs vlog that I've done, but we're going to do a few, so hopefully you like this one and more to come. Also, if you can comment right below what you'd like to see yoga on. This video is all about yoga, or I call it yogs, which you'll learn really quick. A weird lolarism of a word, but this yoga section and sequence is all about little poses that you can do before a date. So the idea behind that is having a really open heart. And so there are certain yoga moves and things that we can do in the body so that our heart is open. And if you think about it, we're on our phones all day, and if you're studying or at a laptop, you're kind of closing your heart over, closing it over. And what we want to do is kind of like open the heart up. So that's where this sequence is all about, opening the heart. If you haven't already subscribed below, click the little dinger bell and thumbs up and comment and just write what you want me to do more yogas videos on. And I also want to say thank you to three people, Taters for filming, but this activewear that you'll see I'm wearing, the marbly, this one is Nimble, and they're based in Bondi. And then this beautiful space that we are in right now is Yoga in South Melbourne, and they've let me use this stunning space. And this is actually where I used to teach when I first started becoming a yoga teacher. So enjoy, and this sequence is all about opening your heart. Start with a sun A. So what we want to do is reach the hands high to the sky as we inhale, and then bow forward as we exhale. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in, and you can bring your hands to your shins, or you can have the hands on the mat. And then we're going to step back to a high plank position. First round though, always drop the knees to the mat and then come down. Take a baby cobra. So we're just starting to open the spine here. Release. And then just press up and back to downward facing dog. Take a moment here, paddle the feet out, feel into your down dog. You want to plug all the 10 fingers down. Take a breath in. Exhale, send the heels to the mat. And then just walk your feet up to meet your hands. Halfway lift. Bow forward. Hands high to the sky as you inhale. Bow forward as you exhale. Halfway lift. And step back to high plank. This time high to low plank, and either cobra, which we just did, or an up dog. Just make sure that your thighs are off the mat. Downward facing dog. So we're going to do one more sun A, just to really warm the body and the spine up before we get into back bends. So this time you're just going to bend the knees, look forward, and you can either step or you can do a little pounce. Halfway lift. Bow forward. Hands high to the sky. Bow forward. Half lift. Step back. Chaturanga. High to low plank. Up dog. Now, up dog is actually a back bend, which is a heart opener. So you can hold this pose for 3 breaths. It's a pretty strong back bend though. Just make sure that you're not doing these ones and dropping your legs onto the mat, because that's just crunching into your lumbar spine. It's quite dangerous. So you do want to make sure that your core is turned on. So suck your navel to your spine and keep your thighs off the mat. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. And settle in, send the heels to the mat. So from here, we're actually going to start to come into backward bends. In a traditional yoga class, you'd probably do a full flow, but we really just want to here open the heart and get into some really cool backward bends. So halfway lift, bow forward. And then we're just going to bring the knees to the mat. This pose is one of my favorite poses. It's called Camel Pose. I actually call it the ex-boyfriend pose, because you do open your heart so much that sometimes you think of past relationships. So it can be a little emotional. So whatever comes up, be okay with it, acknowledge it, and feel free to leave it on the mat or experience it, but be okay with whatever comes up. So what you want to do here is you want to pretend like you're putting your hands in your backward jeans pockets, yeah? So palms facing down. You can have your toes tucked under like this or like this. I personally love it like this, right? And then what you want to do is suck your, we call it Uddiyana Bandha, but it's again just turning your core on. So sucking your navel to your spine. So tummy is on, my butt is on, and then I'm just slowly going to peel back. Now this might be plenty. This might be perfect for you. If you're not a backbender, you're going to be feeling it here. And stop there, right? And just take a few deep breaths, in and out through the nose. If you're thinking, no, I've got range, I really want to see if I can take this a bit further, you just kind of like, come on back a little bit further. And then the aim of the game is to eventually reach back for your heels, take a big breath in, and then as you exhale, you want to send your hips forward and peel the heart open. You can see it's a pretty deep backward bend, it's a heart opener, yeah? So this is the pose where all the feelings can come up. If it doesn't feel right to have your head back like this in your neck, don't do it. You can totally stay back here. There's nothing wrong with that, but if it feels good. So we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. And you want to think about, as you inhale, lifting your heart up to the sky, and then as you exhale, shifting the hips forward. And then when we come out of it, you want to make sure that you come out nice and slowly, and you want to support your lower back as you come out of it. A lot of people jolt out of that one. You don't want to do that. Then we're just going to chill out here in hero's pose. Some people like to sit on their feet at this stage of the game. I personally, I don't know why, I just love to sit between my feet. It feels good. And then I just like palms up, and I just shut my eyes here and just let that settle into my body. So this is where it can feel a bit funky and a little bit like, oh wow, I forgot about that moment I shared, or you remember something. Be okay with whatever shows up here, acknowledge it, and either let it go or learn from it. That's what I figure anyway. So we're going to do 2 more rounds of camel, or it's also called Ustrasta. So you come back up, you'll find you'll probably get more depth the more rounds that you do, but you really want to listen to your body here. So just go as far as feels right for you. If you feel comfy here, try shutting the eyes. And then slowly again supporting, coming on out. So we've just got 1 more set. And then coming on up. Camel. So 3 rounds. I remember one of my favorite yoga teachers, when he taught this for the first time to me, he said, this is the pose, it's like the yoga antidepressant. It puts you in a good mood, it makes you feel great. And like I said, it opens your heart. So you can see I can get more depth in the 3rd round. And then just slowly coming out. Because this is our 3rd and final round of camel, now we can go into a child's pose. So I like to have a really wide knee child's pose after I've done camel, and then I'll reach my hands forward, forehead to mat, and just kind of chill out here. And you're really just letting the back just settle in, all the energy that you've just created, the prana, the flow that you've just created, the heat, just settle. So that's an awesome backward bend. A lot of people don't love Ustrasana. If it's not for you, I got some more. Okay, so moving on to our backs now for this backward bend. This is called bridge pose. Now, a lot of people think that it's an easy pose and it's a bit of a cop-out from a wheel, but definitely do not underestimate the power of bridge pose. So you want your feet at hip width distance apart, and you want to lay down on your back, and you want to be able to touch your heels with your middle finger. So what we're going to do is ground down through the feet and then peel the hips off the mat. Nice and easy. At this stage of the game, if you're like, I'm not loving this, I'm not into back bends, you can place a block under your sacrum. Sacrum like this. So this is what we call the supported bridge pose. And in yin yoga, I love doing this pose like this and just kind of like melting over the block. It feels brilliant. And if I've done a full vinyasa flow and I'm totally cooked, I'll often do this pose if I know I don't want a backward bend because it doesn't feel right in my body to be doing it that day. So it's a really lovely, subtle back bend and subtle inversion in some ways as well. But back to bridge. So we're going to ground down through the feet, lift the hips up. At this stage of the game, it's kind of easy to chill out here and you're like, oh yeah, bridge. This is where people think it's a bit of a cop-out, yeah? But that's because you haven't got fully into bridge yet. So what you want to do is shimmy the shoulder blades closer underneath each other. You want to interlace your hands, bring the palms to touch. It's again really easy to have the palms not touching and kind of hanging out here and chilling out here, not too hard. Palms touching, a little bit harder. And then you'll notice you can get the shoulder blades a bit closer together. And then from here, you think about lifting the heart up and back. So can you see how much deeper that back bend has just become? It's really easy to kind of like want to roll your knees out like that. I know I do that quite a bit. So focus on hugging the inner thighs towards one another and just chilling out here. So this is a pretty solid backward bend. I can feel it. It feels strong. This is plenty. And if you have not practiced wheel before, I would highly recommend staying in your bridge and really working on it. There are so many variations of this too. Like you can work on bringing one foot to the center and then extending the other, which is actually quite tricky. Like my legs are shaking when I do it. All that I would say is whatever you choose to do, that you balance out. And so if you do it on one side, try and do it on the other. And then finding that depth. And then really slowly, you just want to really slowly and gently come back down to the mat. And then what I do is I will bring my feet to the edges of my mat, widthwise, that's width, right? And then I will let the knees just knock into each other. It just feels nice in the lower back. You can do windscreen wipers like this if you like, and that really helps to loosen the lower back a little bit as well. But for me, if I know I've got a few rounds of back bends coming up, I'll just take a really simple break like this. And then you reset for either set 2 of bridge, which is exactly what we just did, shimmying the shoulders and finding that depth, right? If you're like, no man, I just want to get cracking into my wheel poses, setup's the same. So you want to make sure that you can brush the backs of your heels. And then the difference is that your hands are going to come here, yeah? So beside your shoulders, I guess you would say, yeah. That wasn't very good direction, was it? Okay, so we're going to ground down through the feet again. Take a big breath in. A lot of teachers have taught me always to go up on an inhale. I like to go up on an exhale personally. So this is how I personally do it. So I will take a breath in. And then as I exhale, I'll come up onto my shoulders. Teachers will often instruct at this stage of the game to come up onto the crown of your head. And then I normally inhale and then push up and exhale. And that's when you're then in your wheel. And if it feels really good and it feels deep, what you can start to do is walk your feet in towards your hands, and then you're going to get a lot more depth. But the same aim of the game is to lift the heart up and through. This is a much more intense backward bend. It took me probably 6 months of hardcore practicing a lot and teaching to even think about doing it. And then when you're ready to come back down, you just slowly come back down and then let the knees knock in towards one another. I personally like to put a hand on my belly, a hand on my heart, just to ground myself. And then you just chill here for a second. And I like to do at least 3 back bends personally, which we've done quite a lot today, but on our backs, you just ground down through the feet, come on up, you know where you are, like you know that the feet are in line. Get your hands sorted, get your hair out of the way. And then pressing down, up onto the shoulders, crown of the head, and then up. And then yeah, find if you want your depth. Your second and third rounds, you always get more depth in. And then you can stay there longer if you want to. Take a big breath in. Find depth. One more. And then you come on down. And this is where I love to end it in Supta Baddha Konasana, and that is sleeping butterfly. So the soles of the feet come to touch, the knees splay out, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And it feels effing delicious. It's so nice. So I could chill here now for the rest. So if I was going on a date right now, I'd happily chill here after doing that sequence of back bends. But I want to be really clear, they're pretty advanced back bends. Bridge is where I'd be recommending that you start from, and then the beginning of camel or Ustrasana. I want to show you one more really cool backward bend that's a little bit more of a yin posture, but you can do it at home with pillows. So I'm just going to get a bolster, which we've got over here. So you can do this at home with pillows. You can do it with a block as well. But basically what you want to do is be sitting, it's called saddle pose, so you're going to be sitting, knees bent, feet, some people like to sit up onto their feet and then come back. I don't. I like to have my butt down and then I just recline over. You can have 2 or 3 pillows at home or over a bolster, and you can have one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, or you can let your hands kind of like sway over the top. You can have like a T, but it feels really nice. Now this pose is technically a yin pose, and in yin yoga, the poses are held for much longer. So you could literally chill out here for 5 to 7 minutes if you really wanted to, you know? So just chilling here. It's a much more gentle pose, but it definitely still works on opening your heart. The other thing to know about heart openers is that they give you energy. So at night time, if you're like, oh, busting out this massive back bend sequence and then go on a date and it's a movie and you can't sit still, maybe it might be smarter to do a more subtle back bend like the one that we just did then. So back bends are awesome and a lot of fun, but you do have to work towards them, and they're not everyone's cup of tea. So make sure you find the variation that works for you. That would be my advice. So I'm going to show you one last one, and then you take what you like out of this. You know what I mean? Like, figure out what works for you. This is called dancer's pose, so it's a balancing backward bend. So the way to come into it, in fact, I'll do it straight to you just so you can see it that way first. So you do it on both sides of the bodies. We'll start with the right hand comes out, reaches out. Pretend you've got like a plate of food and fruit are said as together. Plate of fruit here, and you don't want to drop it, so you want the palm facing up. You're going to drop that palm down, and you're going to pick your right foot up. I like to do the inside of the ankle. It feels nice and open on my shoulder. And then the left hand comes up high to the sky. At this stage, you want to turn your tummy on, so suck your tummy in. Okay, so I'm going to show you on the side the way that I would do it. Right hand's going to come out, it's going to pick the foot up from the inside, knees are going to come together, belly's going to turn on, and then I'm going to reach this hand high to the sky. And then as I kick back, I'm going to focus on also having an open heart. So this is your dancer's pose. And I just fell out of it, right? Which is totally fine. As soon as you fall out, you just get straight back in. But I'll come straight into the left side. So same rule applies. Knees together, belly on, reaching up. And then kicking back as you reach up. Nice. Not as I'm nice, as in it feels nice. And then coming on out. And then hands to heart space. Namaste. So I hope you like those little backward bends. One thing that I do at the end of any yoga practice, it's a weird Lola thing that I do, is I say, to the highest love, I hold my hands at my heart. Then I hold my hands to my lips and I say, to the highest truth. And then I say at my third eye, to the highest consciousness, I give mine. So to the highest love, to the highest truth, to the highest consciousness, I give mine. Hope you liked. Those are my favorite heart-opening yoga poses. Do know though that I am a backbender and I love doing backbends. So remember to tune into your body, and you don't ever need to take it all the way into the final pose. You'll see that I show different variations of poses. So really listen to your body and really look after it. And I hope that you get to use these poses before a date one day. And yeah, if you like it, let me know, and just let me know what you want me to do. Well, I'm not really talking well, but do you know what I mean? What other videos you'd like me to do yogas about. Does that make sense? Because I love it. And hope you do too.